Well, hey, good afternoon. This is David Mansour, Closing Time Podcast. I am a mortgage loan officer here living and working in Peachtree City, Georgia. And I do mortgages, but we try to talk about everything but mortgages. And I'm here with Mr. Steven, and we're going to talk about everything but what he does for a living because sometimes our jobs are boring and our personal lives are a lot more interesting. So, welcome.
Thank you so much. And I do have an exciting job, but my side hustle is movie reviewing. My site's called silverscreencapture.com, and my TikTok is called Film Thirst, and I definitely talk about movies most of the time on those.
I think I've seen one of the TikToks, but didn't register until you just told me that. And I'm going to check that out because I read some of your reviews to be prepared, and you use a lot of big words.
Yes, my goal with the TikTok was to use fewer big words and to actually review things in 4 pints. So if a good movie is good, it gets 4 pints down to,
That's right.
to an empty glass. And so that was a little easier to do as far as my...
Are you drinking the pints while you're doing it?
That's a good idea too. I'm trying to make those 60 seconds. So probably getting all the words out is half the battle, but definitely being able to make it relatable. My silverscreencapture.com reviews started off short and they've gotten a little longer over time. So
okay.
You try to stick to one format and it can kind of weave into a lot of other areas, kind of like your podcast.
Awesome. Well, I'm going back a step here because I like to kind of, we've known each other for a good while. We met through Southside Church, through a small group, and I hate to say watch you grown because I've just watched you live, and I admire you so much because you are the same person in every group that I see you in, whether you're with executives, movie people, whether you're in Trilith, whether you are working and volunteering at Southside. I think it's amazing. I just love that you are so grounded for all the success that you have and all the really cool things that we'll talk about where we are right now too, because this is a pretty cool place.
Well, that's kind of you, David. You definitely were such a great part of the hospitality of even moving here to the Peachtree City, Fayetteville area, and being able to extend that, being able to be involved and invited into a small group, and to be able to be in a city where you're rucking one moment, you're volunteering at the food bank. You never know. There's all sorts of rituals I didn't know about as much until
that was a great little moment that we had. Like, we should ruck again. Like,
I was huffing and puffing during one of those.
You did a lot longer than I did. I actually started training with them.
I actually didn't know that the Kedron Hills was an actual hill until I started with a weighted backpack to be doing that. So you learn a lot of discoveries.
I think I stopped with the rucking when they started like doing pre-ruck workouts, and then I noticed y'all were like come back from your ruck and they're all doing push-ups and pushing sandbags all over the place. I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to walk around.
It's a lot easier when you hear that you're going to have a weighted backpack and walk around Lake Peachtree than it is like, oh yeah, at the end of that, we're going to see how many pull-ups we can do. So yeah, I definitely prefer the hiking with friends.
I love that group. It's I don't know. I just love typically where they come from and their motivations. They're usually really fit, and I don't know. It's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
It seemed like it was always a thing about fitness and also about honoring veterans and honoring that tradition. You're kind of wearing a backpack kind of in honor of the veterans, and a lot of the programs are to bring recognition and remember some fallen veterans and the like. So that's a really great program they do.
I would imagine that all those people that were in the Army hated rucking when they were actually in the Army.
Yeah, they're like, this backpack, this is like nothing compared to what I had to carry.
And they start doing it for fun. So, all right, let's talk about movies. So, you do movie reviews. You have a website, we just said. You have a TikTok. So, why?
So, I have always been fascinated with movies. My parents took me to movies as a little kid. I was spellbound. My earliest memories of birthday parties, they would get an old film projector and put it on and rent a movie. I guess you used to like order them from the library or from services, and we would watch movies together. So I always had my birthday parties where many of them were movie related.
So you're doing this? Were they actually on a reel?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't have to crank it, but it was definitely on a reel. You'd set it up and it would go through.
I just had a podcast with an old friend of mine from high school, Scott, and his dad would play old westerns on a is it just a reel? Is that just
yeah, 16 millimeter reel.
Yes, would play them on the wall, and all the adults would get together, and that was their fun night, and they'd probably have some cocktails and have fun. And we just showed up because it was a chance like to hang out with our friends.
Right.
But then we'd be like sitting in the back watching these westerns. It was really cool. Like I want to see if I can get that whole setup. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
so I guess I grew up in the time where like even having movies nearby, you go to the movie theater, you could occasionally rent one to have at home. Then the era of like the Blockbuster videos of the world, and I was always working at either a movie theater or a video store growing up. And the moment our school newspapers, even in elementary school, would let us review movies as a topic in our newsletters or newspapers, I was always that guy.
Really?
So when someone's like, "What's your origin story about being a movie reviewer?" I'm like, "As long as I've watched movies, I've been talking about them
So
or writing about them."
was there one movie? Can you picture like the moment, like the one movie that captured you and like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Well, the first one that I wrote an entire compilation of reviews for was the summer of Dead Poets Society and Batman, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. A lot of kind of modern classics, I guess. And so
That's weird.
I definitely wrote about all of those for one of my first stories.
Have you ever done any research, or I'm sure you could just Google it, like the best summer. Like I know we talk about in sports, like the best period or the best time, but
Yes.
like those are some hits. All those came out the same summer.
Yeah, there's a recognition about 10 years after that. I guess it was 1999 that most people say is the best year for recent movies.
Really?
And if you look back at it, it is all sorts of amazing hits. It's like, of our generation, like the Fight Club and the Matrix, and just a lot of movies that were sort of on the edge of that millennium, on the edge of us all being worried about like the clock turning over and our Y2K problems were going to happen. So there was sort of an anxiety, a sort of excitement, a creative frontiers that was happening.
Yeah.
And a lot of great movies fell into 1999.
Yeah, it's funny you say the Y2K. I think that's maybe why we're not really scared of anything. 'Cause
Oh, we got
that was quicksand. What was the other thing? Oh, I've heard people joke about it.
We definitely thought everything was falling out.
We thought quicksand was everywhere. We thought the world was ending.
Absolutely.
When it rolled over, like the power's going to go off, the world was going to shut down, and nothing.
No. Just woke up that next day, or celebrated at New Year's, and it was just the same.
Rocked on. So, are movies better now? I don't even know how you would even.
I'm arguing a lot with most of my friends because all of us binge a lot of things on TV, on streaming services. And so there's definitely a muddier place where it's like, what shows are you watching? Are you watching movies that are made for Netflix and the like? And I have tons of friends my age that are like, yeah, I don't even go to the movies. I got kids, I got so-and-so. If they want me to go to the movies, I'll go. So I do think that the movie experience is getting exciting again because a lot of people are putting a lot of spectacle into it with the auditoriums where it moves or the 3Ds or the big scopes and the like. But I'd say overall, there are fewer theatrical movies. You'll go to a multiplex and, it's like 6 movies. Each one has 4 screens of them as opposed to being a lot of discoveries. So one of my goals is to give people some of those like, hey, have you heard of this? Yeah. It's not being marketed or a lot of people don't know about it. And it is word of mouth. It is reviews. Yeah. And so that's what I'm usually looking to tell people about is some movie you wouldn't expect. In addition to people saying, how did the latest Marvel movie do?
Yeah. So are movie theaters dying? Do you think it's going away, or do you think it's just a lull and it'll
I was worried about movie theaters dying when during the pandemic I'd be reviewing a movie and I was the only person that they would have in the theater. I was sitting alone in an IMAX theater watching these art movies.
I've heard people saying that now. Like
I haven't seen it. I haven't. As someone who's in a movie theater 3 nights a week, there is nothing that looks. And we are in the summer right now. There's nothing that looks like that as a dead zone. It is awesome. Very full. Kids are going again. My parents go to senior matinees every Tuesday, so they're in that ritual. I think if you love to go to the movies, that is one of the things that you do, and it's not going away. And I think some of the things that recently re-triggered it, definitely the serialized Marvel movies where kids just have to see it on the opening weekend. Yeah. I think the Taylor Swift concert movie honestly got like a bunch of people out. It's like going to people celebrating with their let's call them freedom bands, friendship bracelets.
But I think that's a great. Why not? Like I would go watch a concert. Pearl Jam did a special.
Yeah.
I think it was their.
Yeah, they have the documentary.
They had something. I went to the movie theater.
Did your kids make you go to Minecraft? Was that like a thing? Did you throw things all over?
I was going to ask about that. Like, do you think that's disrespectful, or is that reinventing the movie theater? I mean, there's parts of it. Obviously, you can go over.
Yeah.
But throwing popcorn in the air like that.
I think if there's like an interactive element of the movie, that can be great. I think people do need to.
Brilliant for. And I don't want my kid to
Yeah,
be
I'm gonna
doing
say.
it. But if every other kid...
Yeah, as someone who lives in a town where, TikToking kids burnt the Walmart down, I don't want to
Yes.
encourage anything, but
That is
but,
bad. But I love that they were going and that was exciting and that was the thing. And I don't know.
yeah,
I
I
thought,
think kids
what a
getting
good memory.
excited about it, the rituals, and now they have the popcorn containers that are always memorable. I guess the Creeper is the character from the Minecraft movies. All the kids were, eating out of their popcorn things and just going nuts over the stuff they grew up on. So I think for all of us, there's a nostalgia for the stuff we grew up on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why we all used to keep telling like, oh, they ruined my childhood by coming out with a Star Wars movie that was too woke or too this or whatever. Just saw the Naked Gun movie last night, and it was just like the old ones with just the really bad dad jokes and the really funny puns and the
So I
like.
read your review, and you weren't too down on it.
No, the funny thing is, you can be a Rotten Tomatoes review that's positive. That's like, because that one was 90%, but that can also be a lot of B minuses. Like mine was a B minus. I'm like, some of the jokes were great, some weren't so good, but it was a tight 90-minute package. If you go, you're gonna laugh. It's gonna be fun. Liam Neeson was better than I thought. He was deadpan, and so it was just like the old ones. It just maybe wasn't quite as funny as the first.
So
one.
and that's hard to do. And then I read yours on Happy Gilmore, and you did not like that, right?
Yeah, so the funny thing is we're so attuned to when you're in the theater, you're focusing only on the movie. I have a lot of friends, and I have some friends who liked and hated the Happy Gilmore 2 sequel.
I've seen debates on Facebook.
Definitely debates about it. I will say that when you're watching a movie at home, you're probably also have your mobile phone out, someone's cooking dinner, kids are running around and the like, and it's like you look up every once in a while and something funny or something happens. It's like, oh look, there's Rory, there's John Daly, and all that. It's kind of fun. It's like it's like old friends, a cavalcade of stars. But if you look at it just discerningly as a movie critic, you're like that first one had a story arc.
Yeah.
It had like Adam Sandler in his prime. It had lots of gags that people talk about, 30 years later. And I would just defy people to think the gags were as good in this one.
I think that might be perfectly said because the first time I watched it, I've watched Happy Gilmore twice.
Yes.
Max I wanted him to watch it with me, and he wouldn't. And I was like, I'm not waiting on you. I watched it. And then he wanted to watch it. I was like, I'll sit through it. The first time, I did not like it when I watched it. I was like, that was, it was just, that was no story or whatever. But then the second time I watched it, Max was going, that's Bad Bunny. And he was naming all these people. I was like, the cameos.
So you might say as a scavenger hunt, it was hugely success.
Right,
as a piece of cinema, maybe not.
Right. It was fun to see. He laughed at all the corny jokes.
Yes.
It was fun to see all the it was almost like a Saturday Night Live skit. It was like a spoof of the actual original movie, which is slapstick anyway.
The good thing about opinions about movies or anything is everybody can have their own and they can like things for the reason they like. And but if you're reading what I'm saying about a movie, it's usually because I'm used to seeing so many movies that I'm like, is this doing something new and different? Is this giving a throwback in an interesting way? And in my appraisal of that one, Adam Sandler was playing a more interesting character the first time. He actually did some interesting things in the new one, though. I mean, he's sort of down on his luck, and they had to sort of reset him to make it so that Happy Gilmore wasn't on top of the world at the beginning. I mean, they definitely threw a couple bad things at you right away without spoiling it.
But I think you said Bad Bunny was one of the best actors.
Yeah, he had some funny cameos.
I said the same thing. I thought he did great. I also thought Travis Kelce did a great job.
Yeah, Travis Kelce had an extended country club waiter kind of part.
Like it didn't seem forced. Like I'm trying to think who else was. All the golfers were terrible. They seemed forced, except for the older ones. Right. After them, they were sleeping at the end.
Absolutely. No, you're getting Jack Nicklaus, very late stage cameo.
So let's switch to Jaws. It's called Total Reverse.
Yes, please.
I just watched that yesterday. I hadn't watched it in years, and I was entertained the entire movie.
Oh my gosh.
So is that a great movie?
Absolutely. So I guess it's celebrating 50 years this year, and it sort of invented the summer movie. Beforehand, the summer wasn't any different than any other time, but they were like, hey, things like Jaws and Star Wars started coming out, and it's an event movie. People are going back again and again. Jaws set the template for everything from the Jurassic Park movies to all sorts of other Spielberg hits. But I love what Jaws did at the time. Definitely, you couldn't not think about getting in the ocean and worrying about a shark attacking you.
A friend of mine was telling me that their parents were describing watching it in the movie theater when it came out and how scared they were.
And it's a slow burn for a while. It's a long time
is.
before that first shark comes in. And
Well, no, the first shark.
well, the
kills that
first
girl
shark, excuse me,
immediately,
at the very beginning, but then there's a long time of getting a lot of characters.
There's two deaths quick, and then you're on the edge of your seat because you're thinking everyone's
at
gonna
any
die all the
point
time.
someone's going to get dispatched.
And then it doesn't. And
Yeah.
but also the graphics.
Yeah.
Like normally when you go back and watch a Rocky,
Right.
or even the first Star Wars, it's just like it takes a while for them to get to the action.
Right.
In this, I thought it held like
Yeah, I
the
think
girl in the beginning of Jaws where she's getting eaten. It looked real. I was like, holy cow.
Spielberg had such a way of using the camera and getting you to the interesting places and doing interesting things within that. They always call it practical effects when you're just filming what's there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a mechanical shark at the time who didn't work really well during most of the shoot. So
I saw that.
oftentimes you get rare glimpses of the shark because they just couldn't even use some of the footage because
Yeah.
he didn't work.
Yeah.
The shark was named Bruce, evidently, and he did not work very often. But nowadays they'll start sticking so many effects in, and you're like, okay, this scene doesn't look good. Let's just throw some more, visuals into it. And
Yeah.
I think people really are getting back to a lot of those practical effects. And even when they're doing a blue screen or green screen kind of situation, if the characters who are acting can at least see what they're up against,
Yeah.
you can at least act a little bit better in the
Yeah,
frame than just
that's
like,
true.
okay, I'm talking to an alien and he's not there.
Well, I found myself engaged in Jaws, like yelling, like, why are you letting your kid even go in the water? You're the sheriff, and you know there's a shark.
No better.
Why is your kid on the beach? I get you don't want to overthrow and close the beach, but I was mad. I was yelling, talking. I was like, I've seen this movie 10 times.
Absolutely. And we
And-
still got that kind of person in life. It's like the protagonist who really wants to save everybody and somebody's standing in his way.
Yeah.
There's always the man who's doing it for some weird reason. And but yeah, very exciting movie. That's a good one. In our neighborhood, we actually did a screening of Jaws where we all got in inner tubes in the pool and we screened it up on the wall out there. So we had a Jaws in the pool, which adds an extra dimension of the terror when you are in the water watching the movie.
That's brilliant. I might get my friends to do that for
Yeah.
Labor Day at the lake.
I keep-
That's worse because your legs, because at the pool, y'all's pool's not deep enough for your legs.
No.
That's the scary part of the movie is it always shoots up.
Yeah.
And the legs are going like that. So if
I love planning movie screenings, and I did that one in college at Jaws in the pool, and we did it in the deep end for sure. And it was a
Yeah.
little bit scarier maybe than in our
Listen,
luxury pool nearby.
dark and- wow.
Yeah, so it could be a fun time.
All right. So we're in Trilith.
Yes.
And I don't want to be done talking about movies, but I
No.
just we talked about the pool. So you were one of the original homeowners here, definitely the first year or two that it opened, or were you one of the first like 5?
I was not in the first 5, but definitely probably the first 55. And I was living in kind of the Buckhead Midtown area where I work my day job in advertising and PR. And I found out that there was a neighborhood that was being built around the movie studio. So at the time it was called Pinewood Atlanta Studios. Yeah, the Pinewood and Pinewood Forest was the name of the neighborhood. And I literally didn't hear about it until one afternoon, and I got to visit there the next day. I visited there on Friday, and by the next Sunday, like 2 days later, I was putting earnest money down to get a townhouse here because I was like, I couldn't have imagined that in Atlanta there'd be a neighborhood that is an ecosystem to the movie industry. And so I've been here long enough that I've seen a lot of the town grow up around here. And Dan Cathy and family bought the whole thing. And so when they bought it from Pinewood in London, they had a new name, Trilith, which is all about the pathway, the gateway into creativity, and to do so much more here than just make the movies, but actually write the movies, make them, edit them, all these things in Georgia that you get tax credits for, and to be able to do that entire storytelling continuum right here on the block.
So what is is that just a made up word that they?
It is actually a word. A trillathon is sort of like when you think of Stonehenge, where these different tall structures that have a structure across them. So it's like a gateway.
Okay.
So it is a gateway to creativity, and the idea that everything here that could nurture your creativity would be here on the sound stages in the town, with the foundation and the institute, all sorts of ways to get people into harnessing their creativity, being a patron of creativity or a filmmaker or a content maker. all of that is exciting for us. And then, of course, having things like U.S. Soccer come here too is just icing on the cake.
Ah, that's right down the street.
I definitely did not know when I first got invited here what Fayetteville was. I'd heard of Peachtree City
Yeah.
because everybody knows the city that has the golf carts.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And so got to learn about Fayetteville. When I go to the end of Veterans Parkway here, I can go left to Fayetteville, right to Peachtree City. And I just had a great time with all of it.
I mean, this place has changed because I went to high school here.
Yes, sir.
So this was a 2-lane road from we never went to Peachtree City. I went to Peachtree City in all my years growing up. I went to Peachtree City one time, and that was for fireworks.
Oh, of course.
But I never drove that because it just seemed like, why would you drive it was just woods and road all the way down. And now you've got a major hospital and obviously this development.
Right.
It's pretty neat.
It's definitely, and it's funny because I hear a lot of people like, oh, that's all the way in Peachtree City. That's all the way in Fayetteville. I'm like, ooh, these are pretty close.
Yeah.
I know that traffic light around the avenues can give you a little heartache.
It does. But I'm behind the old booth on the Parkway. And I'm like, I'm not going all the way to Target.
Now you can golf cart to some of these things though, behind the scenes. It's like you've got a backstage studio tour behind the scenes to get to all the places and just kind of come out and you're there.
So were you 100% sold? You believe from the get-go everything that they promised you? Because it sounded insane. I remember when they were rolling this out and boutique hotel and restaurants and bars. I'm like,
I know. All of it did sound like sort of a utopia. And I remember when they were talking about having a movie theater right here. And I was moving from Midtown where they just built an iPic across the street from where I lived. And so I'm like, oh, I could stay here and I could walk to the movie theater and I could enjoy Piedmont Park and all that. But I was like, ooh, I'm going to move here on the promise of all this. And it's funny because we're about ready to have movie theaters, performing arts centers, and all that.
Excited about this?
Oh my gosh, in the new year,
open day?
2026. Yeah, I think the very first parts of 2026.
Really?
Yeah, and definitely full multiplex where they can have movie premieres and the like. So it's going to be hard for me to go anywhere else. But I do like my NCG and my Tinseltown. I go directly to both of those. In Atlanta, I go to Landmark and the Plaza, the Terra, Phipps, and you name it. So I make it to a lot. I weave to a lot of movie theaters in an apple day.
So Fear Unlocked, I watched them build this thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I remember, we've all watched it because it's taken a while. And I just remember at a point I was like, what in the world is that building? Because there were no windows. It was cement, like the core of it. And I'm going, how do you get out of there? I'm literally saying, how do you get out of there if it catches fire? Because all I saw was huge cement walls.
And this is on the first sound stages of the Pinewood, or is this the Trilith Live?
It's part of that.
Yeah.
But obviously it's the core because it's grown so much outwards. I don't know if that's just the theaters that they started with, but I was like, that's scary. I don't see any, but there was just this one wall from the front. I'm sure it's safe. In my head, I was like, I've never seen so much cement and so tall. That was crazy.
Well, I'm explaining it to a lot of people. I may not get this all right, but Trilith Live is a huge complex that's over on the other far end of our campus here. And on the left of it is where the movie theater is going to be. I think it's an 8-plex. And then in the middle, there's this huge lobby and atrium. On the right, it's this Performing Arts Center. So the Passion City Church will be there, the Performing Arts Center. But the back of this is where there are 2 live stages. And what a live stage is like, they're already having game shows there. So you can go on to a site, I think it's called On Camera Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you can sign up to go and be an audience member of these different game shows.
I submitted. Somebody told me about one of the shows that they're filming.
There's one that Joel McHale was hosting.
They said it was like they wanted. They said it was one father-son show. They wanted,
my gosh!
And so they were like, "You and Max should definitely do that." But then when I went on the website, it didn't look that way. But
interesting. No, you should try it out. Those are real.
I didn't hear a word from them.
Those are real. Just as much as movies have been all the rage here. This year it has been game shows. There are, and a lot of people I know in this neighborhood had gone to be on Family Feud. It used to be filmed in the town stage here, and so these game shows is big business for sure.
So is Let's Make a Deal still running? Because that's definitely my all-time favorite game.
That is a great one. I do not know if they're filming a current one of those. Maybe top secret, but.
Have to look. So, all right, I'm gonna take my camera, take a pause. Let's go back to movies. All right, we're in good shape.
Good.
So TV shows.
Yes.
How does that compare? Can you enjoy TV shows? Do you judge them while you're watching them cinematically, if you will, or?
Yeah, so it used to be in filmmaking that if you were a big movie star, you wouldn't do TV. It was like sort of taboo. It's like, oh, I'm too big for that. I'm a movie star. I can't be on TV.
Yeah.
Now it seems like a lot of the most innovative things are happening on TV. Big movie stars have gotten involved in producing and starring on TV shows. So you'll see a lot of that. My problem as a film reviewer is I can get in and out of a movie in about 2.5 hours. If you get in and out of a show that you like a lot, you may have a 21 plus
Yeah.
hour investment to
Wow.
watch the entire season. And you're just kind of pushing again and again, continue to the next episode,
Yeah.
to the next episode. So I always find it funny when someone can't get through sitting through a 2.5 hour movie, but somehow can sit in one place and watch 8 episodes of an hour long show in a row.
That's me.
But it's all right. It's
Well,
in the
no,
comfort of your home.
I love movies. Absolutely love movies. But it's almost like golf. I like playing golf.
Yeah.
But the thought of blocking
That
6
much
hours
time.
for golf, I'm like, no, I got so many other things to do. Even though I
Right.
will waste time doing nothing for 6 hours.
Absolutely. Finally
And the same
getting
with the
2 hours
movie,
of
I'm
sleep,
like,
which I was like,
yeah.
oh, I should have binged that show for
Like
so
it'll
long.
be 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, let me watch a movie. I'm like, no, because then I won't go to bed till 11,
Right.
and then I'll watch 5 30-minute TV shows. And I'm
That's
like, Why
true.
did I just do that?
We're such a content economy that it's like, okay, I'm going to entertain myself. I'm going to watch some TikToks. I'm watch some reels. I might turn a show on. I might watch a show. I might watch a movie. But the good news is there's lots of good content out there. And I would never begrudge all the great stuff that's on television. I'm actually sometimes scared of finding too many good shows on TV because that's just more to have to do.
But
But
there's so many. When you start asking your friends, and they'll name 5 shows, I've not watched a single thing. I'm like, oh Lord.
right, all those British shows and just other shows
Yeah.
from around the world that people are into. So definitely a lot to see.
I do like. I think Netflix is running like. It's almost like the movie's too long for the theater, or they don't want to edit it, so they cut it into like a 4-episode
Yes.
show. I watched one on Netflix, and I really enjoyed it. It's where they 4 seasons. Was that what it's called?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you
there
watch
was a
that?
show called that. Yeah, absolutely. Netflix
Yeah.
is incented to keep your eyeballs on their streaming service as long as possible.
Yeah.
So if they've got a
So they
longer
drag it
version,
out.
if they got stuff they can do in the credits, if they got stuff that they can do to like get you onto the next show and
Right.
keep going.
Well, that's what
They'll
that
do
felt
that.
like. That felt like I was watching a movie,
Yeah.
but they broke it up into, I think, 5 episodes, one for each season.
Right.
They were like an hour long. So obviously, not many people want to sit and watch a 5-hour movie.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good.
Well, so much has changed since it used to be just like, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox would have their shows and they would like do a season and it would be over. And now you can just start a season any time of the year. It can be as many episodes as you want. You can cut a season into 2 and make you wait 3 or 4 years until you get the
Yeah.
next one. So it's a whole different economy for sure.
So, is there a TV show that you really enjoy, a must watch for people?
I do not. I would be the wrong person to give you something on that. I will tell you that I watched a lot of pilots. I'll watch the beginning of a show and just be so into it. I'm like, oh, I hate that I like that so much because theoretically, if I had 20 extra hours, I'd just keep watching that. But usually because I have to reset and every week find the next 2 movies to see. I'm like the last of the movie reviewers, and but I have lots of friends that are well into TV that will
So
tell you the
you
latest
watch
one. The Last of
movies
Us.
over and over?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, so I have a lot of friends that can quote a lot of movies, and they're like,
So-
"Oh, Happy Gilmore!" Like when he says this, I'm like, "Guys, I saw Happy Gilmore in the theater 30 years ago, and I watched it again
So
right
no-
before Happy Gilmore
yeah,
too." Just
so no movie you've watched 5 times?
Oh no, there are many that I've watched 20 or more times.
Oh,
but
no,
like
okay.
lately, like movies that people love, like an Anchorman or so and so. I've seen it once, and I loved it. But like, it would give me comfort just to watch a movie that I enjoyed again. But I'm always thinking about like, what's the next one that I can see?
Yeah, I think mentally it almost feeds your soul to watch something new and to see it. So.
Oh yeah, and definitely the way I guess we have TikTok and everything. Some famous scenes from those movies, you can't help but see the memes and the greatest hits. And there are actually some things where I've seen like, I don't know if I ever saw that movie, but like it looks like Melissa McCarthy is hilarious in that, and she's like going off on this lady. I'm like, I don't even know what movie that is, but she's
What
funny
about
as hell.
Ted Lasso? Have you seen Ted Lasso?
On that one, I've maybe seen like 4 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, if you ever push
Oh, I
through a
know.
show,
I know, but you're
That
like
show
you're like a
is-
person an hour to me, telling me like you better watch the show. And I'm like
it's just it makes
would
you,
love it, but I would also love The Last of Us. I would love The Traitors.
But I think Ted Lasso feeds the soul, in my opinion. It addresses social issues
Yeah.
in the most positive way, and even the hardest social issues. And it's just it's a happy. I just absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Well, that's a great producer. You have Bill Lawrence, who did Scrubs. He did Shrinking is a great show.
That is great. I've seen
Also,
that. That's
same writer
awesome.
as Ted Lasso. So, so I follow the makers of these shows and I see what they're doing and I'm seeing what's nominated and, things like Succession, where you're like, I'm watching all the movies that the people from Succession have made, but I've only really watched an episode or
So
two
in
of it.
Shrinking, who's the younger one whose wife dies?
Jason Segel. Right.
So what is he in? Because I feel like I realize he does such a good job.
Yeah.
I love him in that show.
You probably saw him in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which was like a comedy from the 90s.
Wasn't he like
The Muppets? He did like a Muppet movie.
Maybe that's what it was.
But yeah, he's just
I
one
just
of those
remember
kind
seeing
of.
him and going, "Why do I know him?" And then looking back, going, "Oh, I didn't like him in that, but I love him."
Oh,
in
that's
that
true.
show."
Yeah, he was sort of a person who'd be in a lot of those comedies. They call them the Judd Apatow comedies. They're like the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up.
That's what I
A
feel
lot
like.
of those
He
types
was
of
like a
shows.
spoof, like just a joke in every one.
Yeah,
of them,
so
and that
you'd
and
see a Jason
serious and-
Segel, you'd see a lot of Paul Rudd in a lot of those movies,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So there's definitely some certain directors that are sort of known as being a big purveyor of a certain kind of movie, and you'd see, you see Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen. Is it, who's the guy that's like, cut this out, man.
I won't have a name.
This is a senior moment, but
I'm terrible at names.
it used to be like James Franco, and it would be all these different people that are in a lot of.
So, do you have a favorite, like one favorite movie, like that's the one, that is the pinnacle that I judge everything against, or that you hope that they make another one?
Oh my gosh! Well, I definitely love a lot of movies. A lot of the classics, like the Godfather movies and the Star Wars originals, and some of that. I happen to love the movie called Boyhood, and since you're the father of a 14 and a 19-year-old, wait till your 14-year-old is out of college and then watch it. And what it'll do for you is it'll show you just how fast parenthood can pass and how quickly a child grows up. It's the movie they made over 12 years. The kid is like 7 or 8 in the first scene and he goes off to college in the last scene. And it's not like 1 year later. It just happens before your eyes over 2.5 hours. Like,
I feel like
something's happening. He's doing this, he's doing that. And you're like, that kid just grew up. Like, I was right there. They filmed it
That's
like
incredible.
once a weekend
I've either
every
read
year.
about it or I've watched it because I remember that theme and thought that's incredible. They stuck with it for that.
I will tell anybody who watches it, it does not have like an incredible story. It is just the miracle that for 12 years they kept making the movie. The same cast members were still alive. The director didn't change. The location didn't change. They're filming in Austin, and the little boy grows up right there. So that to me is a miracle of a movie. I also love a lot of science fiction. So I really like something. It's a really brutal movie from the 70s called A Clockwork Orange. It's about like a dystopian future where the criminals are running the streets, and I just love it. It's
What
a
about
Stanley
August
Kubrick.
Rush? Did you like that movie?
I've never seen August Rush. That's like an inspirational one, right?
It's one of my favorites. It's the kid. I don't know if
Is
he
it
gives
Haley
it
Joel
away.
Osment or something like that? Or
I don't know names.
Not the kid from
But the
Sixth
kid
Sense.
is a prodigy
Yeah.
musician, and he's
Yep.
an orphan
Yep.
because the mother and dad hooked up on a one-night stand. They get separate, and then they spend their whole lives trying to find this kid.
Okay.
And then at the end they do, but just the music in it, it's another feel good. So
Yeah, I was
that's-
about to say. Sometimes feel-good movies will catch me. I have a feeling that one, when it came out, it was probably like the same weekend where like 2 other movies
Yeah.
that I wanted to see were, and I never went back and caught it. But yeah, sometimes it'll be one of those like really inspirational kind of movies, and there's somewhere between like a Hallmark movie and like a really good Hollywood feel-good
Right, and
movie.
I think that's the difference. Like what you enjoy and what, because I don't watch as many movies. I like a movie that just made me feel good.
Yeah.
Or made me laugh. That's it. I don't care if it was
Yeah.
horribly acted or whatever. If I laugh, I'm paying for entertainment.
I've got some blind spots in there, like you mentioned, August Rush. I never saw, like, for instance, The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. That's like one I think a lot of people like, and I just never went back and watched it. But then there are ones that are kind of inspirational that are sort of like Oscar winners, like a Forrest Gump, or those kinds of things that stick
Are
with
there
you
any
over
Oscar
time.
winners that you think were garbage movies?
Oh yeah.
Lots of.
In fact, there's been a lot of times where I write a review and it's not favorable for a movie, and then I'm like, wow, that was up for Best Picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, that won.
Do you think it's political at all, or just different people's opinions?
Different people's opinions. Yeah, I see what some people admire about certain movies and why it hits them. and it just doesn't always hit me the same way. The most recent Best Picture winner, Anora, was one I saw in the theater, and I just like, didn't love it like other people, and it won Best Picture. And I watched it recently, and I found more to enjoy about it and to appreciate about it than the first time, but it still like wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I know you invited me to I guess it was early here in this place, and I guess it was the Oscars, and there was a preview party or something, and they had a person speaking.
Oh yeah, about the meaning behind the movies.
Right, but he talked about how they trends that they start trends that you don't even know they're starting. They're like, oh, look how they did all this in 2015, and in
Yes.
2017, it was cool to wear this or that.
Absolutely.
But so,
That was our friend, Brian Coley, who runs an organization out of Marietta. I met him through this unusual, cool community here. And he basically is looking at the meaning behind the movies, and he's looking at what the highest grossing movies and the best pictures each year say about the times that we're in. He also does a program for like careers, like where companies can come in and they can learn how the people on their teams behave and interact with one another based on their favorite movies.
Really?
And so he'd say,
'Cause
sometimes
we did that. You wrote all your favorite movies.
Yeah, you find out that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find out that like a lot of the movies that are coming out are speaking about, citizens taking charge again, or people who didn't used to have as many rights getting rights, or there's a movement back towards this or that. And he'd like put the movies together that were coming out in that time period and be able to be a little bit of a soothsayer, a forecaster about what that meant.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah.
Well, before we go, your home is incredible. You have a lot of things here. Tell us about. Y'all aren't going to be able to see it except for what's behind us. We can start there.
Sure.
Tell us about your collections.
So in my townhouse at Trilith, I definitely keep a lot of things that I happen to love. And so I happen to have an Indiana Jones area. That's always one of my favorite series of movies. Actually, the first three, not the last two. Willy Wonka section. Right back here with Superman. So it was really exciting to live in Trilith while they were filming Superman. They always have a code word for it. So they were calling it Genesis at the time. So it was like, oh, there's this movie Genesis that's filming across the street.
Oh, okay.
But while here, you'd meet people at the Mexican restaurant or so-and-so. And there was this one guy who was 7 feet tall with a Jurassic Park hat on. And I'm like, you have to be in the movies, right? And he's like, I just arrived here today. I'm getting my costume fitted in the morning. And I was like, it's for Genesis? And he's like, yeah. And he's a guy who was playing an alien in the Superman movie. He was Mr. Handsome was the name of the character.
Oh, wow.
And I said, have you seen anything else that I might have seen? And he's like, they haven't come out yet. But it turns out he was Alien and Alien Romulus. And he was in Smile 2, the horror movie. So we're always meeting interesting people here. And on the last day of them being here, I got to meet David Cornsweet, who was Superman. And he and his super wife and his super baby and his super dog were all wandering around.
Do you have a favorite Superman?
He's my favorite now. He's my favorite. Yeah, I love Christopher Reeve as well. Good. And they all have great things. It's a great movie. I've only seen it twice so far, but I guess to my notion that I don't see movies more than once, I've seen that one twice. If the certain friends want to go to it again.
Have you seen
Fantastic Four? I did.
Did you like it?
That was all right.
Okay.
It was all right.
Because Max went. I haven't seen it, and Max loved it. But he talked like it was his first IMAX experience.
Okay.
It was just like, it was so good. Please take me back. I want to go see it again. And,
yeah, there's nothing better than seeing the exciting effects and sound and so and good acting. The last two Marvel movies, I think, were a step in the right direction. But the Thunderbolts I actually liked a lot more than Fantastic Four First Steps. It was a ragtag group of people gathering together to solve a situation, and I didn't know if the new folks were that ragtag.
So you've got all of these. Do you ever pop these in, or are these just for collection?
I guess they're for decoration now. There's Boyhood.
Yeah,
that's funny. But yeah, I definitely have a large physical media collection. And the weird thing about the streaming services is they change things out. So while we're recording this, Happy Gilmore went off Netflix yesterday. So you can't watch it on Netflix.
The first one
now.
did,
The first one. Yeah, it was on the 31st of July, and now we're in August.
Wow.
And if there's an August rush to see that movie, you won't be able to. So that's why I have a physical copy.
Your memorabilia looks like the original Willy Wonka. Did you enjoy the new revision?
I tell you what, we have the original 1971 Willy Wonka, which is my favorite. We had the Tim Burton remake of it, which had some good moments, but it was not my favorite. And then we even had Timothy Chalamet do a prequel where he's young Willy Wonka. That was fun, actually, too.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I forgot about that one.
So
Yeah.
they'll keep making more of that, and
Isn't
eventually
that
they'll get
crazy
good
that
at
old
selling
man, like,
merchandise.
I see the jokes about, is he the uncle or the grandpa that he's just laying in bed, can't move?
Oh
can't
my
work,
gosh!
and
Yeah,
they're
looking
born-
back, Grandpa
and then
Joe
he's all of a sudden.
could have done a little bit more if he could hop up with that golden ticket and be that happy.
That's right. So we got Indiana Jones. Oh, I see the Jaws up there.
There's some Jaws. There's popcorn containers. There's ET. There's Marvel, and really exciting. At one point last year, during the exact same time they were filming Superman, they were making a big Disney live action movie with a lot of Polynesian cast and The Rock, and they were making the Saturday Night Live movie. It's actually on Peacock. That was about the making of the first night of the Saturday Night Live show. That was a great movie. Nobody saw it, but it's really enjoyable on Peacock to watch a real time 2 hours of what it felt like to not even be sure you were going to go on the air to film Saturday Night Live with like the John
Was there a lot of
Belushi's and Dan Aykroyd type people.
Original footage too?
It was
or-
no, it was all just they
All just-
recreated the whole thing.
Oh wow.
And they had young Chevy Chase, young John Belushi, young
Who would
Dan
play young
Aykroyd.
Chevy Chase? That's
There's a really good troupe of actors, and those actors were just all over town. And most people wouldn't recognize them. They're up and coming actors, but yeah, you just go up to the CT Taqueria, and they'd literally all be sitting out having dinner.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Wow.
wow, you're going to see these people. It's like, oh, that's.
so you do see a good bit of.
Oh my goodness! And that wasn't the case the first couple of years. Moved in, the pandemic, a lot of things
Yeah.
like sort of slowed down for a little while. But absolutely, a day doesn't go by, in fact, where we don't see actors, stunt people, all sorts of folks. That
So
we
what's
see
the
in
proper
movies.
etiquette? Do they like being approached, or are they okay being approached, or is it like just leave them alone? They're just trying to.
I think it's a leave them alone. I saw David
When they're
Cornsweat.
eating
Yeah.
the meal, I agree.
I saw David
Do
Cornsweat
not
at
interrupt
least
me.
100 times before I knew it was the last day of shooting, and he was just walking down the street, and I just said, "Mr. Cornsweat, I hope you've enjoyed your time in Trilith." And he's like, "I have," and he's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "I'm Stephen Brown."
See, that's the
and,
type of interaction.
and I got to
just
tell him that
wanna-
one of my friends was his stand-in in the movie, and he's like,
wow.
"Oh, I love Jared." He's
Yeah.
awesome. So he was, perfectly glad to. And I saw somebody wanting to take a picture with the Stranger Things cast, and she was in a restaurant. I was like, wait till they got their check and they look like they're about ready to leave.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to sneak in, just tell them you like their
Who is
stuff.
it? Somebody has a Instagram of people secretly taking photos of them.
Oh gosh.
It is hilarious.
So they found
So
that
they-
somebody's taking
So
paparazzi shots of them.
I don't know how they get them, or probably they tag him or say it, and so he searches them and he posts them all
I
on his own
love it.
Instagram of these people like going like this.
It's like knowing
like
that
that.
somebody's writing mean tweets about you,
And
but
it's
somebody's
so
catching all these
funny. I
little
loved it. I loved it.
things.
So, do you go to movies? Do you have to go alone? Do you go with groups ever?
I go all the different ways. All the different ways. So one of the things now, being I'm in a three different film critics societies, and so usually it's Tuesday nights where we are watching a movie that's about to come out on Friday. And so oftentimes we have several rows in a kind of a consumer screening where the whole room is filled with people that are seeing it early, and we've got a little row where we're reviewing it and getting it ready. And so I see it with critics sometimes. We always talk about it afterwards and talk about what we thought. I'll definitely go with friends, and but I definitely, like last night I watched 2 in a row by myself on a Friday night. It was kind of it'd be depressing by most people's standards, but movie going can be a lively dinner and a movie discussion, or it can just be
But it's-
quietly watching.
Yeah,
something.
I think a lot of people, like they say, you should not go on a date at a movie because you're not going to talk or interact. I think that's perfectly
Oh, it's a great one.
okay to go by yourself.
Yeah, just add the dinner or coffee or cocktails
Yeah.
around it, and you got a date out of that.
Well, if you ever want to go to a movie
Thank
that
you.
is, not that you're not trying to review, you just want to check it out because whatever,
Fantastic.
let me know because I need a push because I absolutely love going to movies and I never go.
Well, and the funny thing is that they stream so soon that it's like, okay, well, if I didn't go to it, it's going to be on TV pretty soon. But there is a difference. Like,
Yeah.
the movie
Huge.
The Accountant 2 recently. This is a movie that I really, really liked. And it's far-fetched. It's like a 90s action movie. Ben Affleck plays sort of like a crime solver in it. And I remember seeing it in the theater, and I was like, wow, this is just so exciting. And, when it's on streaming, it's fine, but it's not going to be that exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, oh, that's still going on TV while I'm making dinner.
A live band, same with music.
Right.
You see a band live, there's bands that I just might not have liked, or
Oh, yeah.
and then you go see them live, going, "Holy cow!"
You're fixated on it. You're feeling the
The
beat. You're feeling
talent,
the
you
music.
see
You're watching the
all
crowd
of it.
surfing.
It's just, yeah, it's incredible. So
Absolutely, a whole lot different. So yeah, and it's funny because we talk about the communal experience of movie going. Sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be bad.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing a movie that's really funny and the audience is laughing, you're seeing a movie that's exciting, a horror movie, and everybody's shrieking.
Do you ever go to like an African American movie theater where
All the time.
where they
All the time.
talk back? Yeah,
Yes,
I would love that.
The Color Purple musical that came back. I saw that on a night that was a early screening for everyone. It was a critic screening, and definitely had like a very very black audience for it, and it was one of the most joyous experiences. People were reacting to everything. You would definitely be like, "Oh, Miss Seeley, don't do that." And, so there was definitely just a whole bunch, and just everybody by the end when she triumphs, like it was just like people were like, everyone was hugging each other in the room. And
well, if that, I've got to find that. So tell me.
I will. You got an official
what
invitation.
theater to go to or what?
Well, if nothing else, we
movie.
should inaugurate when we have the new Trilith movie theater move here. We should see a movie here.
Ain't no black people gonna be here though.
You never know. You never know.
Actually,
well, we're gonna go to Tinseltown for that. Then.
Actually, Juneteenth has a really good turnout here.
Oh my gosh!
We came out here for that event, and it's incredible. I think we've come the last 3 years, and
this neighborhood
pretty cool.
is incredibly diverse, and yes, I've had every subgroup of friends comes here for different things, and definitely it's just wide open. I think the festivals, the beer festival, the food festival recently was one of the biggest hits that we've ever had here, and I had some friends from the farthest reaches of the northernmost Fulton County, from all sorts of people from around here, all descend upon that to try all the different foods at Trilith. And it's amazing.
At the beer festival, they're crashing on your couches.
Oh gosh, all of that's happened. All of that's happened. It's definitely once people know that you've got a place here, it becomes quite a gathering spot.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh,
You're
a pleasure.
Such a pleasure to talk to and
do some mortgages. As well, but no, always good to talk, and thank you so much
real
for
estate. Just to tie back to
please.
mortgages, real estate in Trilith. I mean, you've done very well for a moment. I think that 2020 gap seemed to lull a bit. People had questions, but then it's just exploded because this is the place to be. But it's for certain people as well.
I think all sorts of people are making a wise investment here. Again, all the movie making, content making, the Trilith Live, the U.S. Soccer being based here. It can't help but be good for all of our property values.
You walk to restaurants. Do you still have the little robots that are delivering all your food? And
sometimes, yeah, they make an infrequent appearance, but definitely, I've definitely had a robot bring me food, and. But yeah, we have coffee shops.
Right there.
The Greystone Eatery now is doing this a Wednesday fried chicken night and this Friday fish fry that you can go to their little window and you can get this like food with all the trimmings. It's delicious.
Which one is that?
That one's called Greystone. It used to be called Thumbs Up Diner, and
Thumbs
the lady in
Up's
charge of it was the same place. It's just I think the lady who's in charge of it bought it. Or I may not be getting that exactly right, but. She's controlling the destiny of it with all sorts of new things that she's adding. Kind of like Pinewood becoming Trilith. It's like somebody who's in charge is being very inventive and wants to do things their way. Woodstone Bakery, CT Taqueria, Honeysuckle Gelato, Barley Garden.
The taco place is Max's favorite. He wants to Uber Eats the damn CT tacos like all the time. I was like, let's just go pick them up. He's like, they're better when you Uber them.
Yeah, the funny.
You're 14.
I'm definitely not lazy enough that I have Ubered anything in the neighborhood before.
Yes.
That would be. It's a very walkable neighborhood, but I definitely have imported some Grubhub
and I
from
heard you can see
PTC.
Dan Cathy out here picking up trash, like just walks around, just cleaning up or doing whatever.
He definitely, I think it's called is it called the First Mile Service or whatever, modeling that kind of servant leadership. You'll see him making sure that the grounds are beautiful. Yeah, that we're picking up after ourselves. All the different tenets of a new urbanist neighborhood of it being just impeccably.
Like, hey, cut them bushes, Steve. You need to.
He has deputized a lot of us by inspiring us to do that. They're like, oh gosh, if he's doing that, we should probably also be picking up some of that, That's Friday night trash. And but we're definitely very indebted and very grateful for the folks who had the vision for this place. And I'm just so glad it's here and that other people can come enjoy it anytime.
That's awesome. We come out here a good bit. So I'm in a new men's group that meets at the donut shop.
Okay, a Hero Donut Time,
which
is also delicious.
So
I knew I was forgetting something.
Come Sit with us.
We
on
would love
Monday
that.
morning
We'd love
at
that.
7.
I'm good for a good inspirational talk or just a
Yeah.
donut.
Exactly. I heard the cheeseburger was delicious there. At the
It
donut
is.
shop.
It is. They do a really good one there. If you've ever not done this before for breakfast, they have a hash brown bowl that's really good with, like, you can put different mixes in it, different things, and it's
Not.
quite tasty. And
I have to
yesterday I
eat
took
now.
Hero Donuts to my work in Buckhead, and which is a long. You know, I love it here when I'm willing to drive that far to work, right?
Yeah.
And to come home here.
And you take donuts from here.
And I
to
took
there
Hero
instead of buying
Donuts.
them
Yeah,
there.
somebody was marveling over some sort of Almond Joy donuts that they were selling yesterday, and Fruity Pebble donuts and all sorts of specialty ones. But definitely the glazed with chocolate on them are always a favorite.
See, I like just glazed. I
Yes.
like the cinnamon twist and the glazed twist. Like, as a kid, I wanted all that stuff. The more sugar and chocolate and flavor. But now, just give me the best glazed donut you got. That makes me happy.
My job is to know trivia about everything. I don't know if it's my job, but I just happen to. So the Hero Donuts are made with brioche bread that takes, as they told me, I think 3 days to make the type of donut they make there. So it's like perfectly made over that time, perfect kind of way to do the yeast and the dough and the rising of that. And so when you got one of those fresh, it is amazing.
My child is so bougie. I think about it now. The brioche. That's all he'll eat his sandwiches on.
I will only eat mine on
Like
brioche.
if we yeah.
Ciabatta.
And they are good. I have to go to that little special section in Kroger and get the little fancy brioche. I'm like,
goodness.
I don't even know what this is.
I guess I'm glad we're raising a generation of foodies. And,
Oh Lord, he's wow.
Have you been to the rooftop bar here?
On top of
On the top of the guest house, the hotel.
yes,
Oliver's Twist. Yeah,
I've been there a couple times.
It's totally great. The staff there is wonderful. They make something called the Tequila Mockingbird, and it is a good drink. Drink wisely and responsibly.
Yeah, the last 2 times we went, we did some people watching because you've got people that look like they're here maybe on a conference. We're sitting there going, especially with the new Coldplay thing. We were like, I think they're probably having an affair.
Oh gosh,
he's sitting on her. Oh, I think they're not married, but look at that. I bet they sleep together. We were having such a good time because
my gosh, the people watching here is unreal.
It was
and
fun.
One time, this was an interesting story. Well, there's been several times where, because the guest house is part of the Marriott system, so you can use points and things like that, and so people are looking up places to stay around here, and it's coming up as a very affordable, very centrally located place. And I remember there was this one Saturday where these guys were all coming out of the front, and they were like, "Excuse me, sir," to me. They're like, "Where are we?" And I was like, "Oh, welcome to Trilith. You're in Trilith." And all of them were here because they were going to Hampton for the races. So they were here for like NASCAR
They're
racing.
from NASCAR.
Yeah, and they were staying here. And so I was like, well, you've got the best bonus in the world. Not only have you gotten here to enjoy all the race cars, which I've done for the first time since being here, but I was like, you've got one of the best, Mexican and Italian and all these other places to enjoy in this beautiful, picture-perfect town village.
We know the first time I used to Airbnb my own house, like a bedroom when my kids were with their mom. And one of the first people I had come was going to the Walking Dead stuff. Like they were from out of the state. And I'm like, wait, you caught a flight to come here to stay at my house for 2 nights just to go walk around Walking Dead? They're like, yes, and it was the greatest thing
ever. My goodness. I love it. But I tell you what, when I first moved here and we didn't have all of Trilith as it is now yet, I would every Saturday, and I still have lots of friends there and go there often, but Sonoy Main Street, it's one of my favorite places around here. Nowadays, one of my favorite places is also, have you know about the Francis Ford Coppola All Movie Hotel? Do you know what that is?
I've seen the All Movie. And
it's the old Days Inn, right? If people who grew up here, it was like a Days Inn and then something else at one point.
What is?
Oh my God, it is very magical.
You can stay there, right?
You can stay there just like any night, yes. But it is. He took the different Days Inn rooms and he changed them into huge suites that he personally picked the furniture for. So this is the Godfather director. And he's got like yes, he did this while he was making a movie here. His side hustle was redoing this old hotel into a place that would be where movie makers could stay. And I stayed there on the first night it was open. I just had to go in.
Yeah.
And in the room, it was the Francis Ford Coppola suite. pictures up from his movies. He has paintings that Akira Kurosawa gave him up in this one like Japanese themed room. It was unreal. I got treated like a king when I was there, and I just can't believe it's here. There's some nights where I just like, I wonder if I just like want to book a room and stay there.
I'm wondering, what would that look like if I had like, not a party, you know, we used to have hotel parties as a kid, but just to book it and have 10 friends, just let's go inside and eat dinner and sit. Because if it's a suite, I'm assuming it's...
The night I was staying there, I called 2 friends. I'm like, you got to come over here too. Like, have a drink or something. It's like, it is unreal.
So they'd have no trouble with you bringing in some wine and sitting and watching.
I don't know their policy, but it was
Right,
cool.
but yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, but you
I'm
probably
50. I'm not...
You can book a room,
I'm not,
party.
you know, going to have people falling out the doors and
Right.
all that stuff.
But yeah,
That'd be a cool, just different night.
They had kids themed show things. They had rooms that were for kids, for families. They had editing suite rooms where you could actually like you're here for doing something and you have an editing bay. They like, what movie do you want to screen tonight? And I was just like, oh, you're just going to screen a movie for me? And they're like, yeah, pick from any catalog. It turned out it was the opening night of the Olympics, and so we watched the opening ceremonies up on the big screen inside there. But literally, there's a big screen in there.
Which one did we just have? The winter?
Oh gosh,
I enjoyed that one with Snoop
yeah.
Dogg doing all that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was
was
crazy.
beautiful. Oh, where was that? Because it was gorgeous.
This is in Paris.
Paris, yes.
Yeah,
The
yes.
river, and I've not been to Paris yet, and it was gorgeous. Like the whole.
Definitely gorgeous stuff. And I tell you what, you know, as someone who doesn't have a golf cart and has golf cart envy, they let me have a golf cart for the nights I was staying there. And oh my gosh, I went everywhere. I learned a lot of the city.
You've been to my house.
Yes, yes.
My golf cart is parked outside. Oh
yeah, not for everybody.
Keys in it. I swear to God. Anytime you ever want to just
That
ride
is
around
kind
the
of
lake,
you. That is
go
kind of
eat.
you.
I mean, it's literally sitting in front of the house. Unless
Okay.
it's charging, which is once a week. It's parked out front. The keys are in it.
Well, you're gonna have a frequent golf cart visitor too.
I swear. I gave away the golf cart. It was so funny. And I don't know if this was dumb or not. We pull up. It's me and my girlfriend. We're going to dinner up at the Avenues.
Yes.
And this little girl was probably 12 or 13. And her mom just walked up and was like, hey, I love that. Where do you rent the golf carts? It's her birthday and we want to rent a golf cart. I was like, you don't really do that. We own it. And I was like, here.
Enjoy it for a moment.
Go. We're going to eat. If you can have it back in an hour. She's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And they took off.
It is that trusting a community sometimes.
It is. Well, it was the approach. And I was like,
I know. It's her
this
birthday.
ain't a scam. Like,
It's her
she was
birthday.
like, and I was like, that was cool. And they did it and parked it right back the same place, left the keys in it, and didn't think anything of it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, our minister offered me his for like the day of the parade. He's like, I'm not going to use it for this, and so it's interesting. People are very free with their golf carts, you know, permitted and everything.
Well, it's one of those that they're a little expensive, that you don't use it enough for what it costs. So
yeah,
if somebody doesn't have one, don't go rent one when mine's just sitting there doing nothing.
Well, the people in Trilith who have very big garages have them inside. The rest of us is like, okay, yes, you have just enough space for the cars, and some don't have that. Theoretically, this is a future-looking community where we aren't going to be worried about having our own vehicles as much. But there is a guy in our a good friend of ours in the neighborhood, Dom, who makes custom golf carts and all sorts of great things. So there's definitely somebody in a crafty.
Does he have a shop?
I think he just does that as his side hustle to being a stuntman.
Oh, wow. Because my son just started it's over there on Sonoy Road. He's working on a golf cart, but all they do is custom work. And I walked in there and he's like, that one's $23,000. I'm like, for a golf cart.
Yeah, Dom Cagle does some absolutely souped up,
the
custom,
radios, the screens,
some high-end golf
everything
carts.
was amazing. So.
But I tell you what, just as somebody who's kind of newer to the area, you've got such craftspeople in so many areas out here. I mean, from your high fidelity AV folks to your plumbers to everybody who's like out here, they're really good at their crafts and they're really good about knowing the community so well. And it's been wonderful to like move to a place where you didn't know that many people or anybody, I think, and to have this ecosystem of people that are like, oh. In fact, I'll ask you right now. I need to get golf lessons. So be thinking about if you know anybody who can teach me to play golf. One of the things I do for work is promote golf products and the like. And I was like, I got to play myself. So I don't know how you find a good golf coach, but Steven's in need of a golf coach.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe I'll like Happy Gilmore 2 more after I play.
Knobloch, is that his name? I'm sure somebody knows him. He
comment in the comments.
In Canongate or whatever it was over there. He did the kids' lessons. But he also, I know he did adults. He just did the kids. They probably
Well,
made him do it.
If you can do a kids
He was
lesson,
in-
that's the right
This
level
guy
for
was
me.
incredible. Just great personality, friendly, nice. Like
Good.
you would think they'd be potentially like, oh, you tuck your shirt on, or you know, he
Yeah.
wasn't. He was just so nice and.
Well, I've been practicing at the
Enjoy.
Fairway Social, and I definitely just need to get that swing better. And I love it. I'm a master of putt golfing, but an actual take me out on the
hit some
greens.
golf ball.
I would love
How
that.
about we'll go to the par 3?
Okay, well you got
Oh,
more
yeah.
more outings with me than you
I know.
were winning, but I would
We'll
love
get one
that.
up.
I would love that. It's been a while, so I definitely would love to do all that
Yes.
hanging out.
Well, this is the longest sign off we've ever.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're almost done. Thank you for those who are still tuned in.
Yes, I love it. That was awesome. So that's it. We'll say goodbye, and maybe we can do this again.
I would love it.
Talk about I don't know, maybe Oscar time. We'll get up here and talk about.
I'll give you
all the
predictions. I'll tell you
movies.
why it's worth tuning in for. And this year, it's probably going to be all sorts of very obscure sounding movies to most people. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I've seen, I will have seen Avatar 3, but nothing else on there I've ever heard of. So
Yeah.
I'll be able to break it down like this one's worth seeing.
There's 3 avatars.
There's about to be a third. By the
About to be.
time you're watching this in the archives,
Okay.
you
I was
will
like, I
have seen
haven't even seen
Avatar,
2 yet.
Fire and Ash.
And I've heard 2 is pretty good.
I don't like any of the Avatar movies.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm a contrarian on that too.
So I like-
I'd say none of those should be up for Best Picture.
Well, maybe not, but I love fantasy. Like,
Yeah.
just anything fantasy is
Yeah.
great for me. Adventure and fantasy and escaping
Oh yeah.
the reality is.
Well,
just kinda,
they did some beautiful work in it for sure, and I felt like on those the storytelling it was a little bit it's like okay, that's like Dances with Wolves in space or Fern Gully or Pocahontas in space, but they definitely do a lot of that. But I do love it when something that's a really big hit also is an Oscar hit. When you've got like a Black Panther or something is up for Best Picture, or recently just like when superhero movies make it to the Best
I
Picture.
couldn't
That's
get
exciting.
through Black Panther 2.
Oh, okay. A lot of people didn't like that as much as the first one. I
I
tend
love
to
the
like
first one.
it.
The second one, I was just like
Were you streaming or theater?
streaming,
Okay, see?
and I turned it off. Like,
If you got any kind of attention deficit, you got to be in the theater, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say,
All
get
right,
in the zone.
I'm going to a movie once a week for the rest of my life. So.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you, Stephen. All right, y'all have a great day. DavidMonsour.com. And what's your TikTok?
Yes,
and
Stephen
your-
Brown, silverscreencapture.com, and TikTok, Film Thirst.
We will, I think I'm supposed to put them in the comments or something in the
Hey.
tag. So, all right.
I
Thank
love
you.